If there's one thing you can't deny about ExZeus 2, it's the game's ambition. The devs have set out to create an action-packed mech-based shooting and fighting extravaganza by regularly switching up the gameplay. One moment you're flying around the city blasting aircraft like you're in a stage of Space Harrier. The next you're getting down and dirty at ground level in 3D shoot and brawl sections. You'll even find yourself in charge of a motorcycle attempting to avoid obstacles and take out enemies with your lethal drift. The problem is, the dev appears to have put so much time and energy into providing variety in gameplay, it didn't find the time to fine-tune all of these individual elements. The in-game controls vary depending on the situation. There's the option to use tilt controls for the flying sections, and an on-screen D-pad and buttons for the fighting and bike sections. Alternatively, you can just use a D-pad setup throughout. The flying segments work well enough. To fire your gun, you touch the right side of the screen, with the left side locking onto missiles. The fighting controls are a little more stiff and awkward, with the D-pad controlling both movement and camera. Each directional command can be double tapped for a boost in that direction, but turning is always cumbersome. Things get worse in the motorbike sections, with the drifts not always turning in the direction that you're traveling. Out of all the sections, the flying is probably the most intuitive, but by far the most enjoyable is the combat. This can largely be attributed to the satisfying impact of the weapons and melee attacks. Boosting up to a war mech and punching it into oblivion is one of those little joys that only video games can provide. Unfortunately, this sense of gratification doesn't extend to the other sections. There is simply too much going on in the flying segments to fully enjoy soaring around the skies, with your shield and health gradually whittling away, often without you being able to identify the reason. The game apparently supports the IK peripheral, which might help with the brawling and motorbike sections. However, it does feel like more time went into creating variety and set pieces than honing the mechanics. Mech heads might get some enjoyment out of ExZeus 2, but until it can work out its problems, hopefully in a future patch, it's hard to justify the relatively high purchase price. This has been James with AppSpy.com. We review, you decide.